And to be honest, this election's more pro wrestling than pro wrestling right now. That's pretty insane.
It is. It is. Like, reality has switched to become kayfabe. It's almost like I don't know how to describe it.
The following announcement has been paid for by the Put Me Over podcast.
What's up, everybody? We're back for our special Sunday night election/erection special. Drew's out today, right? He's probably hungover from celebrating all last night, huh?
It probably is.
How do you guys feel about the election? Good? Bad? We'll go quickly.
You know, honestly, I'm indifferent about it. I'm just glad that Donald Trump is out, but we'll see what happens from the fallout. It's gonna be interesting the next couple months. I'll say that.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And to be honest, this election's more pro wrestling than pro wrestling right now. It's pretty insane.
It is. It is. Like, reality has switched to become kayfabe. It's almost like I don't know how to describe it. Like, it's I don't know.
The United States is turning face, dude.
I don't even know anymore.
It's kind of insane because with Trump kind of disputing it, it's like he wants the writers to rewrite some of the things. He's not happy with his gimmick.
That's like Vince. It's like Vince changing the script right before they're supposed to tape Raw or SmackDown.
Right. It's he won't accept the cause. It's like Montreal Screwjob, but in Donald Trump's eyes, you know.
Oh man! Like I said, though, the next couple of months are going to get interesting as far as what's going to happen. I mean, Trump has even said before the election, like, I'm not going to take this lying down. So we'll just have to see what happens, and we're going to have to go from there.
Such a bitch move, though. I'm like, dude, just accept it, bro. Like, everybody loses. Oh, that's gonna hurt him, though.
Except him, because he's winning. He wins all the time.
Yeah.
He wants that Hogan booking, dude.
Oh yeah, for sure. He wants to be on top for like the next 50 years, dude.
That's wild. But yeah, I guess we'll move on to wrestling shit. What do you guys? Any big highlights from this week? It's been kind of a distracting week with the election and all that shit going on.
Everything in American life has been overshadowed by the election, and definitely this week is no exception. Yesterday was Full Gear, AEW's last major show of 2020. I'm just going to say this right off the bat. I think they delivered from beginning to finish. If you guys haven't had the chance, go check it out. It's phenomenal all the way through. Definitely a nice distraction from what is going on in this world.
I really liked it. Oh, go on.
Oh, I was just wondering, where was it at? Would they have live crowd there?
They do. They're doing like a certain percentage of capacity and 15%, like they've done every week with their Dynamite show. So it was about maybe like 500 people at their arena in Jacksonville, which it's fine. It's nice to have an actual live crowd. Now, as far as when we're gonna get like full capacity, we don't know what's gonna happen. That may not be for a long while, but it's definitely something. But yeah, I think overall, like from beginning to end, it was a great match. What did you? I mean, anything else you want to say, Bobby? Did you watch a little bit of Full Gear this morning? You said you did.
Yeah, I watched the highlights, and dude, that Omega and Heyman match was really good. It was kind of slow paced, you know. It had that Omega style where it was just like a lot of power moves and moving all over the ring. They were all over the place. It was really good. I really liked it.
Did they give it time?
Yeah, it was
a long match.
They opened the pay-per-view with that match, which was actually pretty good. It was a great way to start the match.
Oh yeah.
The pacing was phenomenal. Omega and Hangman was definitely, you could either say that or even the Bucks and FTR. And I honestly thought like FTR and the Bucks, that match was going to be a letdown because it was so hyped up mainly by the Bucks,
right,
and then the fans. And then
that match everyone's been
help either.
Yeah, that match everyone's been waiting years. I mean, ever since the FTR thing started, right. And everyone was waiting for it, and I think it held up very good. Kind of squeaked out the win, and it was kind of surprising. I mean, I didn't think that they were going to lose.
Wait, who won? Who went over that match?
The Bucks.
The Bucks.
Oh shit! So they're the champs now, huh?
I'll explain this. I'll explain the match. they did make a stipulation last week on Dynamite that if they were to lose, they would never challenge for the tag belts again.
The Bucks the Bucks wouldn't.
Yeah.
The Bucks made that stipulation. They did it themselves, which I didn't like that because you already knew like, okay, they can't lose. Like they're like one of the big guys in the company, and they did that last year with Cody. Cody did the same thing where like if he loses, I'm not gonna take a shot at the title for forever.
I wonder how they're gonna revert that for Cody.
We'll figure it out, but I wish they didn't do that stipulation.
Yeah, it was kind of dumb stipulation. I didn't.
It was unnecessary,
and that's what led me to believe that they were gonna win it. Like, just because they did that, like it kind of like put the stamp on it. Okay, Bucks are gonna win it, which I'm okay with because they haven't had the tag team title since AEW started, and they're the best tag team in the world. So
arguably,
but they're up there. I mean,
those are the top 2 tag teams in the world.
Yeah, they're definitely top 2 for sure.
The top 2 for sure. FTR, the match started off a little slow, but FTR, they even not Wheeler, who was it? Harwood. Harwood really was like the MVP of that match. He delivered. He delivered.
I mean, even Nick, dude, he always just that big fury, like right in the middle of the match that he did was so dope. It was so perfect.
Was that the match of the night, or would you say the Omega one was? I'm curious because I'm gonna probably watch those highlights tonight.
You can go either one. You can go either one. I think I would probably lean a bit more towards the tag match. And like I said, I went in there with the expectation being that this is going to be a letdown because it's just so overhyped.
Right.
But by the end of it, I was satisfied. I just wish there was a crowd. I think if there was a major crowd there, then people would say, "Oh my God, this is probably like one of the top 5 tag matches of all time."
It's kind of crazy because you guys, I think FTR is probably a top 1 tag team in the world. But I hate to say, I'm kind of burnt out on the Bucks a little bit. I don't know what
monkeys.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I mean, it's
their
wrestling style.
Yeah, that's their style. I think I'm just really burnt out on that. Mm-hmm. But FTR, there's always room for that kind of tag team, you know.
You know what? I'll say this. I think the buildup did not help either. The way that the Bucks went with it, and it just seemed like I didn't get it. Like they were throwing a tantrum. I thought they were going to turn heel, and then recently they dropped whatever they were doing.
Yeah,
to go against the Bucks. It made no sense building up the story up to the pay-per-view. So I'm with you on that. But they've changed their style. Like they're not doing flips every single match. I mean,
was it a false finish fest? This one was it false finish fest?
Not really.
It was that bad.
Not so much, but there were a lot of tributes. They did a lot of tributes to a lot of the tag teams. They did tributes to DIY. Even Excalibur mentioned DIY on commentary.
Wow.
Steiner Brothers, Hart Foundation. So there was a lot of tributes. Tag team heavy match, a lot of tributes to past tag teams within the past 20 or 30 years. And I think if there was a crowd, I would probably say this would be maybe top 2. Maybe top 1, maybe even like number 1 as far as the greatest tag team match of all time.
What?
But
that's big statement there, boy.
But it has to. But with the crowd though. But without it, it's one of the best. Like it's up there. I wouldn't say number 1 though, but I'd say it's up there.
I'll definitely check out that pay-per-view there.
The Moxley match was kind of.
Yeah, well, Eddie Kingston to me isn't like he's not the guy who's gonna give you that match. You know, he's good, but like. Did that main event? Was that the last match?
Yes.
That was the last match.
That went on last. The title match went on last.
I'm assuming Moxley went over then, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I didn't know that this was an I Quit match. Does this like for sure he quits? Like
no.
Or just quits the match?
No. It's you quit the match. That's a stipulation.
Okay. With the mic?
It was bloody as hell, though. I'll tell you that much.
They didn't do the whole mic, which I'm glad they didn't. But it was more like a submission. It was more like a submission match.
Like WWE.
I was like, wait a minute.
Wait, what? Where did that come from?
No.
That's hilarious.
I'm glad they didn't do that, but it was a pretty brutal match. If you were looking for like a technical masterpiece, no way you were going to get that.
No.
The promos delivered up to the match. Like Eddie Kingston his promo work brought him to where he's at right now.
Right.
Why would
He's
you
so good, man.
You wouldn't care about him until he talks. He makes you he compels you into believing, yes, I'm going to beat this guy up, or I'm here for a reason because of so and so. He compels people. He knows how to tell a story with his words.
He looks like a regular Joe too, like who just a good talking regular Joe.
He does. He does. And I think, it'd be interesting to see what's going to happen to him down the road. I mean, I think he could be a baby. He could be easily be a babyface. People want to be behind this guy. I mean, you hear his story and how 6 months ago he almost lost his house due to the pandemic.
Damn, he's been wrestling forever. He's not a young guy.
No, he's been around. He's been around for almost 20 years. So him and Moxley, they kind of been around the same time frame. They wrestled in CZW. Kingston's really been more on the independent scene. No one's really picked him up until within the past year.
Well, that's wild.
Yeah, because you said he was on NWA, and I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and when I saw him on NWA, he was delivering it. Like he made you believe what he was going to do.
That's crazy. Well, good. I mean, that's good for him because I'm glad he's in AEW and they're giving him a chance because, like, I would have never known who this guy was, and he's so good on the mic, dude.
Yeah,
that's probably the perfect fit for him right now too, because he's definitely not a WWE guy. He's not like that.
I don't think he could fit in AEW.
Yeah, he's
WWE for sure.
He's not polished, like that kind of product.
I wouldn't say.
His mic work is
right. But I'm saying like presentation and like
yeah. I think he'd get lost in the shuffle in WWE for sure.
Easy.
Yeah, I think it's more so the fact that style doesn't suit him.
Right.
Than anything else. I think it's more that, like, because the style for WWE is not meant for everyone.
It's not at all.
It's really not. And I'm not saying AEW is meant for everyone. I mean, each organization has their own style. Just with WWE, the way they have it, it's a lot more structured. It's honestly more creative. It's more creatively restricted because you really have to go through really one man, and he may not have the same opinion as he would the every day. His mind changes all the time. So that's another thing to consider as well.
Depends on how his piss went.
No, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
It depends how his piss went in the morning.
But so I guess I'm really excited. Looking forward to watching that, especially that Omega match because you know how much I mark out. He's the best thing in AEW, and I hope this means he's a title. He's going to challenge for the title now, right?
Yes.
I'll say this to you, Byron. He's back. Like the cleaner's back. He's back. Just pay attention to the storyline. I think that this is where they want to go. It took them a lot longer than they wanted to because they had a different idea as far as what they wanted AEW to build the first year. But now they got that out of the way. Omega's challenging for the belt. You'll see what's going to happen. I think you're going to see, and even Omega himself is like, I want to show everyone what I can do. It's just I'm more have a responsibility to get everyone else over, so that way when everyone else is over, then we can go ahead and show everyone what I can really do. So I think this is going to be really interesting going forward with Omega.
We'll see. Hopefully they do it on a pay-per-view too and don't waste it on it.
Oh, they will. Yeah, they will.
This is the last big pay-per-view. What is this their equivalent of? Survivor Series or some shit?
Yeah, it is in November. It's in November. I mean, you could say based off the calendar, it would be considered something similar to Survivor Series, although Survivor Series is more of a theme pay-per-view. Like really, if you think about the WWE pay-per-views, are more themed. Like Survivor Series traditionally is with the tag teams and the multi-man matches. Royal Rumble, obviously the Battle Royal.
Yeah.
Yes, the Rumble itself. WrestleMania being the biggest stage of them all, and then SummerSlam is usually number 2. People say that SummerSlam would be number 2. So Full Gear is kind of like their third or fourth biggest show of the year. All Out's number 1. That's at WrestleMania, and then you could kind of say Double or Nothing would be number 2 because that's the one before All Out, and maybe Revolution's going to be the next one. So Revolution's going to be in February. So this is going to be interesting to see, number one, how February even is going to look in the next couple months. So if things somehow get better, where they get more people in the crowd, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
But we'll see.
We'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I mean, with the rest of the world locking up for the second time again, it's going to be wild in the next couple months for the U.S. at least. So it's going to be crazy. It's going to get really wild. I mean, everyone hopes for everything to get back to normal, but it probably won't.
Yeah, I guess we can kind of pivot from AEW now and see. Was there any big things in the week, WWE week? That includes like NXT or, whatever other shows WWE has during the week.
Well, you guys were talking about the Pat McAfee.
Oh, he's a beast.
That stable is like a force to be reckoned with in NXT now.
I think he's a legend, dude. He's fucking good. He's a natural. I think once he's done with his podcasting or whatever, he can be like a full-time manager even, and he can the manager who can wrestle sometimes every once in a while.
I just want to slap every person in the face who thought that Adam Cole and McAfee thing was like real on his podcast. Dude, it was so fake, and like everybody fell for it.
How do they fall for it? You could tell Adam Cole was in total character the whole time. I'm like,
dude, 100%. But yeah, it's funny how if you backtrack, everyone thought that was like real. Like, oh my God, he bursted it out on Pat McAfee. Oh wow, nah, dude.
It's a work. You got work.
You got work.
It was a work. It was
Don't
definitely
work yourself
work.
into a shoot, bro.
Definitely shout out to Pete Dunne's steroid guy because he's looking good.
Now I need to look it up. But
ready.
It's steroid guy, right?
Yeah. Let's give him some credit.
What else happened on NXT? Anything?
Well,
cool?
Gargano's back to champ, which is back to being champ, which is kind of cool because
that was last week's Halloween Havoc.
Right.
NXT and AEW this week were both good. It's just everything was overshadowed by the election and the fallout that happened. Raw. I mean, real quickly, I want to talk about Raw. Raw's ratings are going down more and more every week, and I can attribute as to why. I've given up. I cannot watch Raw.
Well, I think they made the right call following Hell in Cell or at Hell in Cell by making Orton the champ, because I think he's clearly the one they should probably put the ball in his hands, I guess. Because McIntyre's great, but I don't think he's going to carry a company. I think Orton and Roman for their respective brands make more sense than McIntyre. Excuse me.
It's just the 3 hours is too much. I mean, when you have when you're trying to book a 3 hour show every week and almost nothing is good on that show, you might get maybe one segment that's intriguing. The Fiend and Alexa Bliss is probably the best thing that's going on Raw. I'll say that.
Right.
Retribution is just it's garbage. I don't know what the hell they're doing with them. I feel bad for those that are in the group. I feel bad for Donovan Dijakovic and Mia Yim
and Ali.
Those are great guys. Those are great workers, and they're stuck with a shit gimmick. I mean, it goes without saying. Like, you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't know what to do with that talent, you're going to get shit results. I think there's still, sadly too, I think there's time to turn it around. They just got to figure out how to use it. Like that, there's something in place there where they can definitely make some noise with it. I just don't know what either. Like, I'll try to think what can make them better right now. It's hard. It really is. I don't know. I think at this point, just cut the bait and move on, to do something else instead. Because it's just not working. This was botched from the beginning, and it was poorly executed from the get-go. I mean, this is maybe one of those things that, hey, just drop what we're doing and move on. No point in. Right. Well, certain factions that is working or gonna work, I think, is that Roman faction that's coming around. That shit is so good, man. Every week, that's like the star of the wrestling week, and it's all drama too. They're not even wrestling that much. And how about like Jay getting big wins again? He beat Daniel Bryan, and then he beat Kevin Owens. I'm like, what the fuck? They're building up Jay, and I'm almost certain Jimmy's probably going to join him once he's back to being 100%. So I think it's and Roman does need a faction at this point. It's better late than never. I think They're doing it. Go with it all the way. Roman is the top heel right now in the company in WWE as far as Raw and SmackDown. I mean, he can even go NXT as well.
I think he's the best heel in business right now. He's
I think
a wrestler in business.
What I'm loving about it is like this isn't a gimmick family; they're actual family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's like usually like they throw some guys together and say, "Oh, we're brothers or we're cousins or something like that." No, bro, they really are cousins. And he's like, "No, you're gonna. We need to keep the family like on the top.
Right,
like,
right.
You don't disrespect the family." And it's the whole storyline is just great. I'm loving it. It's it's McDonald's for me, man. I'm loving it.
Yeah, there you go. And how good is Paul Heyman's involvement in it? I think it's just escalating that thing, and how he's like a little bitch boy. The only gripe that I have with Roman and this whole feud is that, my valet Michelle thinks they're the best looking wrestlers ever. Fucking bitch. But other than that, I think it's perfect what they're doing. And I think you could see that Jay kind of wants to turn back good. So I don't know how that when Jimmy comes back, how that's gonna affect it. Like I think they talked about on Cheap Heat. Imagine having WrestleMania, Jimmy versus Jay, and then Roman versus someone, The Rock. Like that.
I don't know what the plan's gonna be for Roman down the road. You would think The Rock would be. I mean, it makes sense for The Rock to be the end goal.
Right. That's a take my money match, dude. That's insane.
You think The Rock can still go with all those muscles, dude?
Yeah, well, he'll do power style. Power style.
Dude, he'll gas like in the first like 5 minutes.
Yeah, he'll get blown.
Take it home, bro.
I'm not worried about that. I'm more so worried about him breaking down in the ring, because when he wrestled last time, the last 2 WrestleManias he wrestled, he walked out with injuries.
Who did he wrestle
really?
last? Was it Cena?
John
right?
Cena. And I'm not including when he wrestled Eric Roman. That 6-second match doesn't count.
Oh yeah, he was blown up too though at the end of that rock bottom.
Yeah, and I'm not including that, but like the 2 matches he had with Cena, he walked out with injuries, especially when he tore his pec. So I don't see it happening, especially with if he's right now, if he's a big movie star and he's in the middle of a project.
Right.
I doubt the studio's going to let him wrestle, because that's a liability.
Well, not only that, but like you have like all this money from movies and your celebrity, or go back to wrestling and make like pennies. Dude, I think I'll do the movies.
It's not so much that. It's just Rock loves a business, and he wants to do it. It's just
it's true.
The studios aren't going to let him do it because it's a liability for him. I mean, look what happened the past 2 WrestleManias.
He'd have to be out of movies or anything for like the next like months, like 6 months or something.
Right.
I agree.
Dude, imagine him putting fucking Roman over though. Roman would be a legend.
Whew.
That would be the plan.
And you know the crazy thing is that would boost him to like The Rock or Steve Austin's status.
Right. At least past Edge. They'll move past Edge.
100%. And I think that would like put him in that echelon of being that top guy again.
Right.
Or not even again, but just ever. Because we haven't had a Cena since Cena.
Yeah.
So I mean take it for what you will, but if that happened, boom, he's at that Cena level.
Yeah, he's clearly the guy right now. He's definitely the best wrestler period right now, to be honest.
I just keep thinking WWE's just gonna screw it up.
Yeah, there's gonna
just waiting for it.
You know, you're not wrong with that thinking. You're really not. But he needed this to happen. This should have happened years ago. But they were dragging their feet, wanting to make Roman this baby face. And when Vince made him this pet project where he fed him the lines and gave him these ridiculous storylines, that didn't help.
Right.
Imagine if they did this a couple of years ago.
Right. Well, no, I think right now it's probably the best time for him, only because he's single-handedly saving like WWE's like main event, I think.
But do you think it's because of we tried for 5 years making him a babyface, we might as well just do it?
Yeah, and partially because I think because they're not selling merch in the stadiums anymore. So like those kids would be a sucker for those fucking stupid vests. So now that those vests, like there's no one buying those vests in person or his shirts, I guess now would be a good time to flip the switch. Who knows? But yeah, I'm glad it's happening now. It's definitely keeping me interested.
I mean, they still sell his merch regardless if he's a babyface or a heel. I mean, he's still one of the highest merch sellers that they have.
And you also think about when this whole thing happened is like during the pandemic. If there was a crowd, I think that this would go totally differently. Like, I don't know if everyone would be happy and good with the way that the Roman thing's turning out. I think people would, like a few, but I think a lot of people would be like sour towards it and like, no, it's not that good or whatever, you know?
Right.
But since there's no crowd, it's kind of changed the dynamic and it's actually good. So I think this no crowd thing has kind of helped him in a way.
Yeah.
At least that's what I see.
Especially with Heyman being there. They can really guide the story where they want to.
Yeah, 100%.
I would say that the no crowd would help Roman in this case, but overall, it's you don't know because usually you base your reactions and what you're going to do, what you're going to do based off the crowd reaction. This one's kind of an exception to I think it's definitely an exception to the rule. I'm glad they're doing it now because they should have really done this before. And this is more of an indictment on WWE than anything else because they don't know how to build a babyface.
That's for sure.
Well,
I think they've forgotten how over the years, man.
Ever since Daniel Bryan, probably
Pretty
Daniel Bryan
much.
was like the
and you know what? Even then with Daniel Bryan, that was an accident because there was no way in hell that he was going to be the top star.
Well, actually, no. Their last big face was probably was Becky, because she was the biggest shit in wrestling at one point.
I'd say that was an accident as well if you think about it.
Right.
Yeah, that was an accident.
That was an accident because they didn't. I mean, Becky was getting momentum, but Charlotte was going to be the top star. They wanted Charlotte and Ronda to headline WrestleMania.
Right. Well, that goes to show in pro wrestling, it really. Sometimes it just happens, organically.
It does.
Yeah, it's that, and that's the beauty of it. You can't really force something. The crowd kind of decides, like our election, but we're disputing that too, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have 6 minutes left. I guess we can kind of do a quick wrap up. Any other big news or noteworthy things you guys want to end with?
Like I said, I mean, Raw has just been a chore for me to watch. That's why I've given up on watching Raw. Survivor Series is going to be the end of the month, so brand supremacy, once again, doesn't mean shit because we just had a draft a couple weeks ago.
Right, and no one really cares for the brands, really. But it's a good gimmick, and I think it's needed for this sort of end-of-year pay-per-view. So, yeah.
If you're gonna do that, have the draft at a different time of the year where the rosters are firmly established in.
Right, where there's stakes, right? So
don't, and that's another thing. There is no stakes. What's at stake? Oh, fucking, my brand is better than yours. What does that really mean?
Yeah,
and especially if you look at the rosters that are in the Survivor Series, they were on the other brand a month before that. Like look at some I was looking at some of the members for Team Raw. It was like Strowman, AJ, and who else was in there?
Wait, for Raw?
For Team Raw, yeah.
I don't even remember.
Okay, well, I remember I heard it was Strowman and AJ. Both those guys were on SmackDown about a month ago.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. Wrestling or pro wrestling lives in its own universe, kind of like Donald Trump, but yeah.
It does.
But yeah, I think the biggest takeaway from this week too is how good Seth Rollins. I think we talked about it. Seth Rollins can fucking wrestle, man. He made Otis look like a legit wrestler this past week, and yeah, it's good that Sasha's getting fed the shitty Carmella as her first feud as champ. So that's always a good sign.
She retained her belt, so that's good.
Yeah, she's gonna whoop that ass.
I hope so. I mean, I hope to God that she doesn't lose to Carmella. And Seth, regarding Seth. Seth's a great worker, but he tends to be his own worst enemy.
Right. No more penis shots either.
Yeah, no more social media, dude. Maybe just shut up and just not say anything.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Mox went off on that. Said he hates when wrestlers say these stupid marks online and stuff. It's like, dude, like those are your fans, you know, like you can't really bash on them that much.
Right.
Even though you disagree with them, they're still your fans.
It's definitely like a musician like trashing his audience. Essentially,
Right?
that's what it is.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So yeah,
Pretty
I think
much.
we're pretty much out of time. We have a couple more seconds. Anything else, guys, before the Thunderdome takes over?
Real quick,
No.
what are you guys getting a new console? PlayStation or Xbox?
PS5, duh.
Yeah? Okay. I don't know which one I'm getting yet.
Dude,
It's coming out in like
PS5.
3 days, man.
PS5 for sure. I didn't get on the pre-order list, so I'm gonna have to like be one of those fucking idiots trying to find one on the internet. But yeah,
It's gonna be tough for sure, but yeah, new console's coming out. Looking forward to that.
what do you get?
Hell
What's the
yeah.
Xbox one called before you leave?
Xbox Series X?
Is that good? That shit's sweet.
Supposedly, everyone's saying it's a lot better than the than the PlayStation, like power wise. Like it's a little bit more powerful than the PlayStation.
It just matters for the games, though. I just need the good games.
Dude, Microsoft just bought ZeniMax. They own Fallout, Doom, like a bunch of games, dude. Elder Scrolls, like all the
shit.
big games. And Microsoft isn't even done buying studios. So who knows who they're going to buy next.
Okay, maybe I might. We'll see. All right, guys. They're trying to
Let's
cut
see
us
what
off.
happens. All right, we're running out of time.
Love you.
All right.
Later, guys.